right, folks. Hope you're all doing well this afternoon. I'm sorry, this evening. I'm so used to streaming in the afternoon. Hope you're all safe right now. Hope you're all keeping up to date with everything that is going on. But it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with. Wildman Willie, thank you for joining me, my friend. Good to see you. Good to know that you're safe on the road out there. It's quite a bit of craziness happening out here in Atlanta, as we've been discussing here for the past few days. We will get into all of it pretty soon here. Gonna give people a few minutes. One thing I do want to say before we get into it, happy Pride Month, folks. Maybe happy isn't the best word to use for this month, this particular year for Pride, seeing as things are so awful right now. But it's important that we acknowledge Pride and the LGBTQ community right now, because the Stonewall riots are a massive turning point for activism in this country, and something I will definitely be talking about at another time during this month. But again, I hope all my LGBTQ friends out there are staying safe during these protests, as well as everybody else participating. For the past, well, really for the past 4 or 5 days, I've been collecting videos of what the police have been doing out in the streets, out on, out on these peaceful protesters. Again, this is going to be another one of those shows where I'm a little heated, so I apologize up front for not being as articulate as I might usually be. I appreciate your patience. A lot going on. I don't know if you can hear it right now, but there's helicopters overhead. They've been overhead here in this part of Atlanta pretty much all day long. It's getting annoying as hell. I have not ventured far, but I have heard that you don't have to go far to see the National Guard trucks. It really does feel like we're being occupied right now, and I think occupation is an accurate description of what's happening. I think we can go ahead and start getting into it, making sure, checking my notes here. All right. Oh yeah, before I do start bringing these up, I do really want to... The reason I'm showing these videos, I'm not here to stir the pot, which I'm sure is what some people would say. I am here to help make sure that people see what is happening, because CNN, Fox News, MSNBC, they're not really showing these attacks. People on social media are doing it. It is largely coming from local reporters on the ground, people who are working at your, WSB TVs, those lettered stations around the country, and those smaller newspapers. Those people out there are the ones doing a lot of the work and being arrested and being shot at by police. But they're the ones bringing us the stories right now, and the reason I'm doing this is because I want to help tell that story with them. Wildman Willie, not strong enough service, but I'll see you in a few days. Fucking love you guys. Oh, sorry you have to bail, man. I love you too, brother. Thanks for trying to come out. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it here. Again, I'm going to give you guys a content warning. There is going to be a lot of police brutality. These are from the past couple days. We've seen a lot of really disproportionate responses to protests, and vandalism and looting has really gone down. We're seeing a lot more organized, peaceful protesting being broken up by very, very aggressive policing tactics. So, I think this first one up here. This first video here is from Atlanta. It's over by Centennial Park. So, if you're in Atlanta, or if you're from Atlanta, this is a place that you've probably been before, probably enjoyed, been by the aquarium, World of Coca-Cola. It's generally a pretty nice place to be. Demonstrations over here were largely peaceful. Police deployed tear gas. Which was not particularly effective. You can see the crowd's running now. We're gonna pause this. Oop, stop. Excuse me. Anyway, you can see all that tear gas blowing back in the face of Atlanta PD out there. I don't know if National Guardsmen were in their ranks. Shitty and terrible, but also incompetent. Fucking idiots. Let's check out this one here, too. So, this is a really disturbing one that has actually been distressed. Excuse me, not distressed. Gosh, words are failing me today. It's been discussed by the mayor and the chief of police. It has been addressed. That is the word I was looking for. It's been addressed by Mayor Bottoms and APD Chief Shields. Two HBC students here, one from Spelman, one from Morehouse, were just passing through trying to get home and were attacked by Atlanta Police Department. This is a brutal video. We're going to see it here.
Where most of the demonstrators are going right now because of all of that tear gas and all of that commotion that continues to happen in that parking lot. So we are walking down William Street over here, and can we talk to you? We know you're out here. What are you doing out here? Protesting.
Ooh, sorry guys. Let me bring that one back up. So we're getting two clips going on here if you're confused where the audio is coming from. You can see right here, though. Watch this.
Can we talk to you? We know you're out here. What are you doing out here? Protesting. Guys, come to our shot. Come to our shot. Come to our shot. Come to our shot.
All right, what's
Watch
going
your
on?
backhand.
Police officer
Come to
there
our shot.
spraying, or it looks like something there is.
See them tasing? They broke the windows.
Looks like a taser.
Yeah, it looks like a taser. We did not see what led up to this. But here, clearly this
Yeah, broken glass through the window. It's pretty quiet, guys. I apologize for that. This is not a loud clip.
Several officers go up to the car and start breaking the glass.
Still tasing him while he's in the seat. They are trying to cooperate.
Woman in the front passenger seat and a gentleman in the driver's seat. They're pulling him out now. A lot of commotion now. Of course, the crowd has caught on to what's happened. We have no idea what led to this. They flattened the tire, broke the glass to the car, and I hear what I believe to be a taser. So you can see this young woman.
And if you've seen this woman, she is tiny. She is not a large, threatening woman in any sense. They threw this college student down on the ground. It's disgusting.
Exactly led up to this. Yes, Mina, the Atlanta Police Department has just tweeted out some tests.
I pause this for a moment. All right, the next one we're going to watch here. Sorry, y'all. I'm new to this setup I'm working on right now, so bear with me for a moment. I appreciate y'all. Get this loading VLC here. All right, this next one we are going to see is from Brooklyn. Lord. Here we go. This is from last night in Brooklyn. This is a medic on the ground. You can see his helmet clearly. Cops are making them get away, not letting them film. So, in wartime, you can't do that. You can't go after medics like that. I want to watch this one more time. I know I was fiddling around with things. It's brutal and uncalled for. And you can see there's not even a large crowd right here right now. They've been doing this over and over again. The crowd disperses and they run and they start going after stragglers, basically. And I say stragglers not as in people who are like hanging out, people who just get caught up in them. It's insane. They've been doing this to reporters as well. All right, this next one here. Columbus, Ohio. Police shoot unarmed protesters out here on the road. Now you can see there's a good bit of distance between them. She never advances on them or anything like that. This is all peaceful protesting that we are watching right now.
Protesters are unarmed and the police are shooting their little fun bullets at them. Look at it. Look at it. Coming out with their hands up.
They have their hands up.
Don't shoot!
So, looks like he might have some eye protection on. I don't know if she does. He definitely doesn't. Guys, these bullets will fuck your eyes up. You will go blind. I will show you what they have done to 2 people already, and surely more have had this happen to them. This is a tactic that police in South America use in certain countries. I don't mean to say all of South America. Venezuela, and it's common to see protesters there missing eyes. Nothing about this looks violent from the protesters' end.
Leave them alone!
Oh shit, yeah. They fucking shot her. They're yelling she was peaceful.
She did nothing at all.
Completely unprovoked.
You guys are fucking pigs. She did nothing. She had her hands up. What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck? If there was a white person in your face with their
discussion.
Really tough to watch. It's fucking... I've seen so much of it so far that none of it should surprise me, but the cruelty of it and the horribleness of it, it seems to get worse and worse. I think the thing that is so surprising is that we are out here protesting police brutality, and they are meeting us with more brutality. Head stomping, skull crushing brutality. It's a fucking nightmare. Way out here. This one is from the other night. You guys may have seen it already. It's been making the rounds. To set this one up, Bill de Blasio and Cuomo both said that this was okay and appropriate. These officers will not be punished as of right now. Now, you see right now things are being thrown. But nothing that's being thrown right now is an actual severe hazard to this SUV, okay? Nothing is going to pierce these windows. No one is in danger in this SUV right now. Second one shows up here. So right now, this second one here is shoving the crowd back. It's doing what I would say is a gentle shove, but anytime you use a vehicle in that way to move people, you run the risk of, 1, pushing them into each other, 2, having them go under the wheels. This is typically a move you use to move cars, not people. Now, let's watch this other car here, and I'll prepare you, this is really bad. Accelerates right into the crowd. Now, if you drive a car, you know that to make a car accelerate like that, you've got to give it a little bit of oomph. you know? This was not a fucking accident. And you see, as soon as they do that, the situation gets more out of control. People start attacking them. They were throwing fucking bottles before. Now they're ready to fucking tear them out of the cars. This is what the police are doing right now. They are provoking a response. They are escalating the situation. And my fear is they do this because they know that when it comes to a violent, armed engagement, they're going to win every time. It's scary because we're out there trying to be peaceful and they are instigating. Sounds like shots are being fired now. All right, this is in Omaha. So you can see right here, we get the riot line. We have protesters sitting on the ground with signs. They are all sitting. Chanting, hands up, don't shoot. Someone trying to close their eyes. Shoving them down. Like a war zone. Sun is still up. These police officers doing this to Americans. All right, this one's from Boston. Not a lot going on in this one. You just see a peaceful protest, and the cops roll up pretty dramatically.
So there's that.
Yep.
That's probably our...
So yeah, that's kind of the end of that one. Pretty insane response for what looks like just people hanging out, though. They look like they're ready to bust that very peaceful protest. This one is... Fuck. Let's back up. I want to say this one's in Charlotte. See, he's firing at people. I'm going to back it up so you can see the officer. These people are standing up on the bridge watching, and he starts firing paintballs, it looks like, at them. This one is really rough to watch right now. I'll set it up for you. These protesters are sitting here. This gentleman he's preaching to these cops, and he's being a lot nicer than I would be. I have to be honest. If I were sitting there in the line with them, I'd probably be side-eyeing him going, man, you're being too fucking nice. But he's trying to appeal to their humanity. And their response is less than humane.
Better than that. We are all people. All of you are
Listen
my
carefully.
Family. All of you are my family.
All of you are my family.
Every one of you. I cry at night because I feel your pain. I feel the pain. I feel the pain of black people. I feel the pain of white people. I feel the pain of innocent cops. I feel the pain. We're all scared. Black, white, cop, doesn't matter. We're all scared. We're living in fear. We gotta stop living in fear. I am not your enemy. You are not my enemy. We have to share this land no matter what. By the end of the day, we have to share this land no matter what. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. I'm not angry at none of you. I love all of y'all. I don't care if you're 5'2", I don't care if you're a 7-footer. I don't care if you're dark skinned, I don't care if you're light skinned, I don't care if you're white. Mask or not, uniform or not. You are my family and I love you and I respect you. And I want to understand y'all. I want to understand all of you. I want to. I deeply want to understand you. I would love to come to your house. I would love to meet your kids. I would love to meet your family. I would love to see the best side of everybody here. This is not the best side of everybody here. I would love to see the best side of everybody here. Then you can change the whole perspective of how you view someone because of their size, because of how you see them in different lights. Someone might have a bad day and you say they're a bad person. No.
Speaking very
We all got
earnestly to
bad
them.
days. We all got bad days. We gotta stop judging people only on our bad days, because we all have them to some degree. How are you on your good days? Do you want to make a stand? Do you want to make a change? Because if we charge you and you charge us, what is that really doing? What is that really doing?
Come on, what are you doing?
What are you doing? Crowd steps in, they push the crowd back.
What the fuck are you doing?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Do what?
He wasn't doing anything wrong. He wasn't doing anything wrong. How is it wrong to say to the police that I love you, that I hear you, that I feel your pain, that I am a human like you are a human, and I want to know you, and I want to hear your story? That is the most fucking shareable thing we could say to these people right now, and they take them away. I don't know where that person is now. I hope they're okay. A lot of the people right now, they're disappearing. Police are not using due process. There's a history of that here. Look up black sites in Chicago. I beg you. 7,000 people taken to illegal black sites. 6,000 of them, black. Look it up. Ugh. All right, folks. Get back into it here.
Freedom of speech!
That one bothered me. I gotta stop again because that guy was just so fucking earnest. That was from the heart. And they took him off like that. Dragged him away. Wouldn't even talk to him. That's what scares me, is they won't even respond to you. They just act like a stone wall.
What are you doing? This is unconstitutional. He was speaking.
I would love to know what that next guy is stepping up to do. Oh, wow. Did we go through these already? Yeah, we looked at this one. Give me 1 second, y'all. Sorry again. Just double checking here to make sure that I showed y'all everything that I wanted y'all to see from what I had here. Looks like I did. All right, we can move on to a couple of other stories here related to the brutal police response to these demonstrations. Get a sip of water here. So the last time I was on, I spoke to y'all about police arresting the CNN crew that was just filming the demonstration. Here we're going to see in Kentucky a news crew shot with pepper balls by police. From what I understand, these people in the crew are behind the riot line, so they're back by the cops' side. I would guess that what we're seeing here, see my mouse here, is supplies for the police. So anyway, let's watch this.
Right now, we're behind the line. Okay. Woo! Ow! I'm getting shot! I'm getting... Rubber bullets, rubber bullets. It's okay. It's those pepper bullets. It's those pepper bullets. They just shot me in the shin. At us! Like, directly at us! Directly at us! Why?
Like, the reporter here is confused. I'm guessing those rubber bullets must not be too bad if they're hitting you on closed skin on the shin. She didn't seem too freaked out. I think she was mostly confused.
I don't know! We are behind their line.
Sure, they're smart like hell, though.
Yeah, they have jugs of milk. They were pouring baking soda into bottles of water.
Okay, so clarification from what I'm saying
preparing
earlier.
themselves beforehand.
This looks like
There's a wagon right here that says free supplies.
protester groups.
They have tons of water and food here, lots of milk. There's gallons of milk right here to nullify the effects of the tear gas. Yeah.
I feel bad for her,
Right
man.
now,
That
we're
threw her off her
behind the
game.
line.
She's doing great, though. Don't fucking shoot her again.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Shot! I'm getting rubber bullets. It's okay.
Oh, okay, it's
those
the same
pepper
clip.
bullets.
Sorry,
It's
y'all.
those pepper bullets. They just shot me in the shin.
Still, though, what the fuck?
At us, like directly at us. Why? I don't know. We are behind their line. Right. They're telling us to move now, I guess farther away. Exactly.
I would highly recommend if you're going to be out here, wear goggles, guys.
We were behind
Folks.
their line. We're fine. James got a little bit of it. But I guess we were behind their line, I guess a little too close for comfort.
Wow, that was very charitable of her to say. What the fuck? She should be a lot more pissed than that. I don't know, y'all. I'm going to see if we get any more context from this story here. Again, from Louisville, Kentucky. A police officer was seen on camera firing what appeared to be pepper balls at a news crew during a live television broadcast of the second night of Louisville protest, prompting an apology from the Louisville Metro Police Department. An apology. I don't know. I feel like that's assault. At the least. I feel like that person should be fired from the force and charged with a crime. A crew from WAVE-TV was downtown in the Kentucky City Friday night, covering demonstrations over the death of Breonna Taylor, a black woman killed by police in her own home in March. Glad to see that Breonna Taylor is not being forgotten in this. Women of color are often forgotten during these movements, and we need to make sure everyone is represented here, that all their names are remembered. Police presence intensified around 9:45 p.m. as officers in riot gear stood shoulder to shoulder, moving people down a key street near City Hall. I want to see if there's anything else here. From Louisville police spokesman Jesse Halliday. I want to apologize. It's not something that should have occurred if she was singled out as a reporter. Now, I want to check on something real quick. Oh, wow. Okay. There's an update on this. The Louisville police chief was fired because they were not using... Oh, fuck. I'm sorry, y'all. I've completely forgotten. Wow. It's so much. So this same piece of shit police chief is responsible for the death of at least one man this morning. A restaurant owner who we will talk about later. We will say his name. I have heard on Twitter that there was another man who was killed. I haven't confirmed that one yet. I haven't seen confirmed reports of that one yet. I hope it's not true, but I will try to relay that when I find that information. But the Louisville police chief has been fired because in the aftermath of that fatal shooting, it came to light that the police officers were not using their body cameras, which is a common story that we hear regarding that technology. There's no point in making them wear that if they don't use it. All right, I'm going to move on to this next story here. Man loses eye from police bullet. These rubber bullets, you guys, they are not harmless in any sense. They're incredibly dangerous projectiles. If you ever played airsoft, you would not play airsoft without eye protection. And these hurt more than airsoft pellets. This is from this Twitter account here. To anybody curious, my eye ruptured when a FWPD officer unnecessarily and improperly fired a tear gas canister at my head, hitting my eye. I apologize, guys. I was wrong. This was from a tear gas canister, which is horrible. Fucking terrifying. I'll be fine, but I'm probably losing my eye after surgery tomorrow. My heart goes out to this guy. This is not the price any American should have to pay to demonstrate here in this country. People are claiming it's fake, of course. I'm sure people will blame him. I mean, I don't even know what to say. Very nervous that Lawrenceville is trending. I'm not going to look at that right now. And this next story, another person has lost their eye, this time a reporter. It's another reporter being attacked. I'm losing track of how many it's happened to so far, but certainly too many. Lindo Torado, a freelance photographer, activist, and author, was shot in the left eye Friday while covering the street protest in Minneapolis. Ms. Torado is one of a number of journalists around the country who were attacked, arrested, or otherwise harassed, sometimes police, and sometimes by protesters. Yeah, I think the only ones who've been harassed by protesters were Fox, and fuck them. So she drove from Minneapolis to Nashville to photograph the protests. Molly
Hi,
reporting
so
on
this
tear
is
gas
Molly,
being
Tennessee Fest for
thrown.
the LA Times. And I just wanted to get this on the record that I was just at the 5th Precinct with a group of media. There was at least a dozen of us there, TV, still photo, and print. I had my notebook in my hand when the Minnesota State Patrol was advancing on protesters and us. We identified ourselves as press, and they fired tear gas canisters on us at point blank range. I got hit in the leg. I'll post a photo of that. We asked them, I was saying, where do we go? Where do we go? They did not tell us where to go. They didn't direct us. They just fired on us. We got stuck, myself and the photographer got stuck in a corner at a scale brick wall and run into a random building where I'm now taking shelter. There's police walking along the street, you know, not allowing us to go out. So I just wanted to get that on the record. Read more in the LA Times.
So this is another journalist attacked by police, a group of them, according to her story.
Good shit, right, Maroki? Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mitcher, appreciate the follow, my friend. Hope you were doing well today. Just want to back up here a little bit. So this is Linda Torado, who shot in the eye. I don't know if she has lost her eye. I haven't found the follow-up for this story yet. I know at least one other woman was shot in the eye during these protests. She actually was not involved in covering them or participating in any way. She was across the street at a store getting milk or something for herself and shot by the police. It's the kind of thing that people talk about happening in China or Venezuela or Russia. But this is the reality of police brutality in this country. This is a reality that Black people have known for a long time, that gay people have known for a long time, trans people. And we are now seeing the really ugly mask off side of policing in this country. And this is what it looks like. People like Linda, people like the individual we saw a moment ago who lost his eye. These people were not committing crimes. And even if they were, the price for committing a crime in America should never be losing an eye. All right. Yeah, I want to move on to this next story about Atlanta PD. We saw earlier the Atlanta PD officers. Oh, wow. Hold on. We got the body cam now. Apparently, this evidence was pretty damning in the eyes of Erica Shields and Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms. Although apparently not severe enough to press charges. If you have a moment, I would urge you to call the mayor's office or the Atlanta District Attorney's office and ask them to please, if they care about this city, press charges in this case, because we need to know, we need to be reassured that this will be taken seriously, that people who do this will be punished. Anyway, we're going to watch this footage now. Okay, so it looks like they tried to stop them. And they looked scared as hell. I understand why they kept going. Holy shit. Breaking open the windows now.
Sometime during the night, I saw a very disturbing video of two young college students who were in downtown Atlanta yesterday evening. And it was disturbing on many levels, the least of not which was that there clearly was an excessive use of force. We understand that our officers are working very long hours under an enormous amount of stress. But we also understand that the use of excessive force is never acceptable.
I'm sorry. Are we using the abusive husband who had a long day at work and has to pay the bills and comes home and the goddamn roast isn't ready? So he smacked his wife around a little bit? What the fuck? There's no excuse for this, ever. And excessive force is a crime and should always be charged as a crime. To fire them and to put the accompanying officers on desk duty is not enough. It's nowhere close to enough, and it makes me very upset that people are treating this as a victory right now, because this is not a victory. Don't let them hand us scraps, because we deserve more.
Acceptable. So the reason that we postponed the press conference earlier today was to give Chief Shields and I an opportunity to review.
I want to back up there. I can't see what he aimed.
Give Chief Shields and
I can't tell if that is a firearm or a taser. It looks like a taser. It's hard to see, but the barrel's really short.
An opportunity to review the body.
This guy's back here just banging the shit out of it.
Video. There were 5 officers involved in this incident, so it took.
You can see her from the other angle shaking, convulsing. I saw a picture of her after the fact. She is a very tiny woman. There is nothing threatening about her. She looks like she might be 100 pounds soaking wet. And the guy, I've been in that situation before where like you're stressed out in traffic or some shit's going on and you're like not totally there with stopping the car with your feet. You have like a moment. He's having that moment right now with these cops, and he's probably trying to figure out, do I run? Do I stay here and maybe get killed? He's a kid. He's a college student. He looks very scared.
Quite a while. Many of you all know in my former life, I'm still a lawyer. I still have my law license. And I was a judge, so I had to ask a lot of questions. And
they break open the window here.
The footage again and again.
To shoot him with a taser.
And we had extensive discussions based on what we saw on that footage. After review of that footage, Chief Shields and I have made the determination that 2 of the officers involved in the incident last night will be terminated immediately. The other 3 officers are right now on desk duty, pending.
Holy shit, you can hear the taser going off again.
Further determination of what if any, appropriate action, disciplinary action should be taken against them.
In a just society, all of them would be in jail right now. All of them would be charged with the crime. This is why we are protesting. You can't assault someone like that and simply lose your job and be allowed to move around freely in society or be put on desk duty. You watch one of your colleagues do that and you do nothing, you need to be held accountable. They all do. And one more time, guys, I will urge you to contact the mayor's office in Atlanta. That number is very easy to find. In fact, you know what? Let's go on a little journey right now. I'm going to bring that up for y'all right now. Give me one moment. Let's see here. The mayor's office. You can contact the mayor's office at 404-330-6100, and you can request that Mayor Bottom's request put pressure on the Atlanta District Attorney to press charges in this case. And we're going to give you some more information here about why these charges should be pressed. These officers have had previous excessive force complaints against them. Excuse me, guys. My mouth's a little dry. Slipping up here. So we'll read this here. One of the Atlanta Police Department officers fired Sunday for forcibly arresting 2 college students had a previous complaint of excessive force that was not upheld after an internal review, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution has learned. Mark Gardner, who joined APD in 1997, was the subject of 2 citizen complaints 5 years ago from Richard Williams. I read this earlier and I thought it was weird that they put the person's name in here, because I know if I made complaints against the police, I would not want that in print like this, but I don't know. So one was for maltreatment or unnecessary force, and the other was for violation of the department's policy on personal weapons. Very curious what that is. Maybe he brought a personal handgun to work. I don't know. So the use of force was not sustained, but Gardner did receive a written reprimand. Oh, on the personal weapons violation. Okay. Gardner and Ivy Streeter, the other officer fired Sunday, were investigators with the department's fugitive squad. Streeter had just completed a class on de-escalation tactics. I don't know. He completed it. How well did he do? Dude got a fucking 70. He also completed a 6-hour course on use of force on May 7th. Maybe it didn't get enough time to marinate in there. Wow. So these guys have had complaints against them before. Although I will be honest, I thought they would be more severe. It's hard to tell from what they've given us. And it's hard to tell, you know, not knowing how the internal police review works and how trustworthy and biased it is. So as of right now, Fulton County District Attorney Paul Howard said his office is moving rapidly to reach an appropriate charging decision regarding the officer's conduct. I called the district attorney office earlier this morning and left a message asking them to please charge this man for the safety of the city, because we don't need more violence here. And the more the police do this, the more they act out against us like this, the more violence there's going to be. It's a simple chain reaction. And I know the mayor doesn't want that. None of us want that. What we want is for the police to be held accountable. And right now, the mayor and the district attorney have a chance to do that. And I also say that the APD has a chance to speak up right now about what's happening with these officers and in general. But we know they're not going to do that. All right, I think there's been a lot of really rough stories over the past few days. This one is really tough. I apologize if I mispronounce his name. David McAddy, Louisville business owner, killed by authorities. David McAddy, the owner of a barbecue business in western Louisville, was shot and killed by law enforcement officers early Monday morning, an incident that's now under state and local police investigation. McAddy was known as a community pillar, said his mother, Odessa Riley. Quote, he left a great legend behind. He was a good person. Everybody around him would say that. My son didn't hurt nobody. He didn't do nothing to nobody. Riley was among the hundreds who have swarmed the corner of 26th and Broadway on Monday, where Louisville police and National Guard personnel were breaking up a large crowd that had gathered in parking lots outside Dino's Food Mart, according to law enforcement officials. Right here, we see a man who's crying after a man was shot and killed. You know, you see a grown man crying like that, and it's hard not to have emotions. To put yourself in his shoes and think about what he saw there and what he lost today in his community. What they all lost. So the story here is that apparently someone shot at officers. That's the story the officers are giving. And officers and soldiers, National Guardsmen, returned fire. Nothing learned from Kent State. Not a damn thing. McAddy, 53 years old, operated a barbecue business at one of the West End's most popular corners, especially on the weekends. But those who knew the chef said he was known to cook at several community events across the 9 area neighborhoods. Quote, Mr. McAddy would help us with Californian Day for at least 15 years, if not longer. He was one of the ones who would donate all his time and all his food. Everybody would just come up and take it, and he wouldn't charge because it was for the neighborhood. This was a man who was out here today to represent the neighborhood. McAddy's mother and his nephew told the Courier-Journal that he was known to feed the police as well. The two said he could give law enforcement offices free meals. He fed them free, Riley said. He fed the police and didn't charge them nothing. This was a man who, by all accounts, sounded like a good man. He sounded like a pillar of the community. You know, to feed people is a very basic, primal connection. You know, and he had that connection with his community, with the police officers in his community. You know, when you feed for people, when you cook for them, you give them that love that you make, and he gave that to his community, and he was killed. It's just a really terrible thing. It didn't have to happen. It wouldn't have happened if the National Guardsmen and the police hadn't been out there. This is Odessa Riley right here. You know, he should have buried his mom. She should not have to bury her son. And, you know, if you look at her, you know she has seen terrible things in this country. I would strongly urge you, if you are a white person, one of the most important things you can do is talk to black people, but especially older black people, because many white people, I know I was taught that racism happened, but it was a thing that happened a long time ago, and that it's a thing of the past, and that, you know, it doesn't really affect things now. But the truth is, you talk to someone, you talk to an older black person, and hear them tell you how they had to avoid motels and hotels because they wouldn't be given rooms when they traveled. So they had to go stay with friends and family, what was described to me as the Chitlin route. Because, as I said, they were not allowed to stay in the places that whites were allowed to stay. I was told that story as casually You know, they spoke about it as casually as they spoke about the weather or the dinner they were serving me. People have to have these conversations to know that this happened not a long time ago. It just happened. And it's happening again, and it's happening every day. Ugh. Where are we at, folks? 54 minutes. Been doing a lot of gabbing today. Listen, y'all, give me 1 second. I'm going to be right back. I am just absolutely parched right now. Give me 1 second, folks. I'm going to be right back. All right. Thank you all for being patient for a moment. My mouth is very dry today. The pollen here in Atlanta is pretty brutal. It's not great. I went skateboarding today with my daughter, which was nice, but definitely feeling the effects of that, including a little bit of dry mouth. All right, we are going to move on to the next group of stories here. You know, the sad truth is tomorrow there is going to be another round of these stories about police brutality, and I hope you all keep your eye out for them. I hope you will check social media. I hope you will check local news stations, because CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, they're not going to cover this. Oh, gosh. I muted my mic for that one, but that was a mighty powerful burp. Please excuse me. All right, one more time, I just want to mention that June is Pride Month, and it's a very important reason why it's in June, and that is the Stonewall riots. Another turning point of activism in this country, and one that we need to remember, and one that I will definitely be discussing later on this month. But it's a timely, very timely topic. All right, moving on to this next story here. Oops. All right, the GOP declares war on anti-fascists, which is weird because fascism is bad, right? That's what that whole World War II thing was about. The Nazis, the Italians, Japanese fought them. Fascists. Not ringing any bells for the GOP, apparently. Trump vows to designate Antifa a terrorist group. Here's why Department of Justice officials call that highly problematic. Let's see. It's a pretty short clip here. Antifa, short for anti-fascist. Cool. Interesting. Antifa, it was originally used to describe members of Germany's socialist labor movement, an illegal resistance to the Nazis. So you'll often hear either uneducated or willfully ignorant conservatives using the talking point that the Nazis were actually socialists, you know. They fucking weren't. Not in any sense of the word. The real socialists were people like Antifa who were fighting the Nazis. Hi, Cat. Excuse me, y'all. This is Pumpkin. He's trying to get my water, even though he has plenty of his own. All right, buddy. You got to get back down. Love you. Okay. I'm going to scroll through here because I want to find out why the DOJ thinks it's problematic. I have my... God damn it. you want to sit in my lap, bud? Can't come up here. Oop, don't fall. Careful. He's very sweet, but he's also kind of an asshole. My cat. Here we go. In particular, current and former government officials have repeatedly worried that officially designating a US-based group as a terrorist organization could have significant First Amendment consequences. The First Amendment protects the right of Americans who like spewing, quote, hateful speech and, quote, assembling with others who share the same hateful views. Don't you love it? So unless an organization engages slowly in an unprotected activity, solely, I think I said slowly, solely in unprotected activity such as committing crimes of violence, any designation of a US-based organization as a terrorist organization would likely run afoul of the First Amendment. This is from Mary McCord, the former head of the Justice Department's National Security Division. She told this to a House panel in January. That's because this is not the first time that Trump has tried to declare Antifa illegal in reductionist terms. He's definitely thrown this hissy fit before. And before we have said, you can't fucking do that, bro. Again, Antifa just means anti-fascist. Antifa does not have a hierarchy. God damn it. It is an extremely, extremely loose collection. It's not like Black Lives Matters, which has a hierarchical hierarchy. Running out of words here, guys. It's getting late. And you know, actual leaders. You can go look up who the Black Lives Matter leaders are and reach out to them and speak with them. Antifa is not like that. It is a loose collection of ideals, and there is culture associated with it, but it is not an organization. Now, try explaining that nuance to this dipshit. This is another part. In promising to designate Antifa as a terrorist organization and to pursue prosecutions, the Trump administration has not made clear what statutes it might use or how it would actually define an Antifa member. Which is, yeah, that's going to be difficult because the moment he said this, every fucking leftist celebrity or blue check, white check, whatever on Twitter said, I am Antifa. So, you know, that's a lot of people to round up, Mr. President. FBI Chris Director, man, guys, I'm having a hard time. My brain's frying. I'm definitely taking tomorrow off. FBI Director Chris Wray underscored the complexities during testimony before Congress last year. Another time. Quote, for us, Antifa is more of an ideology than an organization, he said. We don't think of Antifa so much as an organization. So what I just said isn't me talking out of my ass. The, FBI feels the same way. When it comes to ISIS and other international groups designated as terrorist, U.S. terrorism statutes make it a crime to provide them with, quote, material support, such as money or even one's own person. That's how many Americans who fled the United States to join ISIS in Syria or elsewhere were eventually charged and arrested by the FBI. But no such material support statute exists for a U.S.-based group. Interesting. After last year's deadly assault inside a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, many Democratic lawmakers called for certain white supremacist groups to be designated as domestic terrorist groups. At the time, Justice Department officials explained their concerns. In many cases, though, federal authorities have used other U.S. laws, including weapons-related charges and hate crime statutes, to prosecute so-called domestic terrorists. So, I think the takeaway from this is designating groups as terrorists in the U.S. is complicated. It's tricky. There is some tape to it, red tape. And Trump just saying Antifa is illegal, Antifa are terrorists doesn't mean a whole lot. What it's mostly doing is playing up to his base in a very dangerous way. And to the police, really. Lord. All right. So a few senators are of course, boosting Trump's call here. One of them is GOP's Tom Cotton, an incredibly problematic senator. I don't know if we're going to get into his history tonight. We might do that another time. GOP Senator Tom Cotton calls for the U.S. Army's toughest soldiers to quell domestic terrorism and suggests protesters should be shown no mercy. Tom Cotton actually uses the phrase "no quarter." No quarter, if you're not familiar with that, that has actual military relevance. No quarter means to not take prisoners. It means to kill indiscriminately, and that is actually a war crime. You cannot do that in war. So for him to say this is pretty insane. Let's see what the highlights are here. We got a quote from him. "If local politicians will not do their most basic job to protect our citizens, let's see how these anarchists respond when the 101st Airborne is on the other side of the street." Now, America has a rich history of suppressing and murdering anarchist movements. And I would urge you to do some reading on political anarchism, because it is likely not what you think it is if you are basing it entirely off pop culture ideas of anarchism. It is not about no rules. It is not about violence. Most anarchists find violence reactionary and abhorrible. Abhorrent? I'm making up words. Abhorrent. Yeah, so I would read up on anarchism because it's actually a philosophy based on communal cooperation, and you're going to see a lot of people invoke the phrase the boogeyman of the anarchists, and I think that's something we need to challenge early on. Oh, it looks like I switched up my story. Well, that's okay. I mean, really... Oh, great. And Donald Trump, of course, retweets Tom Cotton here. This is the actual quote. "Anarchy, rioting, and looting needs to end tonight. If local law enforcement is overwhelmed and needs backup, let's see how tough these Antifa terrorists are when they're facing off with the 101st Airborne Division. We need to have zero tolerance for this destruction." Now, I think it's worth noting that the 101st Airborne Division got their reputation as the toughest one in America because they fought the Nazis in World War II. They have a deep history rooted in anti-fascist activities. Some of the most effective anti-fascist activities ever, actually. 101st is Antifa, baby. So, good luck with that, Tom. All right. Matt Gaetz also being a goddamn dipshit as usual. Oh. This was not happening earlier. It looks like this tweet violated the Twitter rules about glorifying violence. However, Twitter has determined that it may be in the public's interest for the tweet to remain accessible. Sinston1, thank you so much for joining. Do you think that this is worse than the LA riots? No, I don't. The LA riots, I think, were a lot scarier, although they were condensed. The LA riots were, well, I think they were legitimate anger. It was incredibly violent. And it was not an era of cooperation that you were seeing right now, especially among white people and black people. There were some incidents during the LA riots of white people getting the shit kicked out of them. There were also incidents of black people stepping in front of other black people and defending white people. But you are not seeing that in this instance. You are seeing cooperation. You're not seeing racial violence within the protests. So I think because of that, this is not worse. However, the scale of things, I think, is definitely more severe because obviously it's not just in LA. And I think we are going to see over the next few days the violence burn out even more. It's kind of been leveling off. That first night, I think, was just pure expression and anger. And maybe some bad actors coming out of the woodwork. But now we are seeing organizers be a little more responsible, be a little more targeted when they are, you know, using destruction of property to send a message. Burning down local buildings is probably not what you need to do, but, you know, if you're going to tear down a statue of a Confederate racist or something, hey, go for it. More power to you. Did you hear about that car that plowed? I did not. I heard about the... what was like a tractor trailer or something that plowed through the protesters sitting down. That one was a weird one because it was just like a truck driver and they weren't even clear how he got to that part of the highway. It was completely closed, but apparently he ran through a group of people. No one was seriously hurt. No, I didn't mean to click that. Can I see the tweet? How do I actually see the tweet? Oh, it's right here. Duh. Now that we clearly see Antifa as terrorists, can we hunt them down like we do those in the Middle East? That's a pretty scary thing. For someone serving in Congress to say. He's calling open season on protesters. The one in Buffalo or the one involved in the high-speed chase in Cali? Oh Lord, we got a live link. I'm gonna check this one out before I put it out on broadcast. This one says New York State trooper injured by car ramming. I'm gonna double check this. Interesting. I'm having a hard time. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm watching that one right now. Was that a police chase? I'll bring that one up. It's not that graphic, but it is bad. Ugh. Wait a second. Oh no, fuck. Okay. I don't want to show too much, fuck. So do we know what the story is with this? Listen, I'm no fan of police. I'm especially upset with their reaction to this, but I do not condone anyone running over police like that. Especially unprovoked in that way. It's one thing to tussle with them in the riot lines. I think that is purely legitimate thing to do, especially when they come after you, but I definitely don't condone anybody using cars, weapons like guns. I think when you start doing things like that in this stage of protesting, it's not a protest anymore. I'm not trying to regulate people. I'm not out here saying, you know, don't tear down that statue. Shit, I'm not even, you know, I support them burning down the precinct in Minneapolis, but I'm not going to support people running people over like that on either side. It's a terrible thing. It's just fucking nuts. Did anyone think we'd get to this point? It's crazy. Anyway, all right, we are almost to the end here, folks. Again, I appreciate y'all stopping by and listening to me. So, this next bit we got here, Trump threatens to deploy the military. Trump says he'll deploy military to states if they don't stop violent protests. And there is a line. Yeah, I agree. There is a line. I think morally there's a line, you know, just how we do things like that. I think also in terms of advancing our cause, I don't think that is a useful thing to do. And we don't know the story on that one yet. I don't know the story. I don't know if that was someone purposefully doing it or if that was an unrelated thing. I tried to listen to the police radios here in Atlanta, and it was very hard to sorry, I lost my train of thought. It was very hard to figure out what they were doing. Like I've looked up like the radio call signs and stuff to try to figure it out, but even then I couldn't tell. A. Mitchell, after he made that statement, he gassed the crowd to walk across the street for a photo op. Yeah, to go to a local church. Interesting. I don't know if that's very, very Christianly. Anyway, escalating his rhetoric during a period of roiling national crises, President Trump on Monday threatened to deploy the U.S. military to cities or states that don't take, quote, necessary actions to halt violent protests, saying that the armed forces will quickly solve the problem for them. So we have once again an American president threatening to shoot U.S. citizens. One comment I saw on Twitter that was very, very telling was someone, I think they said they were Syrian, saying that this looks like the Arab Spring. And I'm seeing a lot of comparisons. When I was in college, it was during the Arab Spring, and I was studying journalism, and actually minored in Arabic. So I learned a lot about the Arab Spring, and it scares me to hear that comparison because at the time we were very excited, thinking that the Arab world was about to go through a transformation and really see the people take charge. And that did not happen. So I hope we have a better outcome here. Now, granted, the Arab Spring was also greatly hamstrung by continued American imperialism and the wars. God, I'm exhausted. It just goes on. Okay. Do we have footage here? Is this his whole bit? Nah, I'm not watching this shit. I'm too tired tonight to go through to pick apart the things he has to say. I don't want to use emotes right now, but I don't think this is the time for that. But wow, just wow, I never thought it would get this out of hand. Yeah. I back even when, Corona was, I was about to say back when it was happening, like it's not still happening. We're still in the middle of it. I just never thought we'd be in that position, and I definitely didn't think we'd get here now. Yeah, I constantly find myself having a hard time balancing tone when talking about this online and in person. I think I've got a little bit of a tendency to lean towards gallows humor, and I know not everybody subscribes to that, so I try to be thoughtful. But shit's just fucked up, man. Sometimes you just have to laugh at how horrible it is, but then quickly get back to doing the good work. So Trump declared himself a law and order president. That is a ominous thing to say. To me, that is saying that he is willing to use whatever force it is to maintain order. He's not a president of the people. He is a president of law and order. Produced and written by Dick Wolf. Let's see. Trump said he had mobilized thousands and thousands of heavily armed military personnel to put an end to the protests. It was not immediately clear, however, what precise changes might be in store for the personnel who have been responding to the demonstrations across the country. So as of right now, we haven't heard, do we know exactly if there's going to be more? Are we giving them flamethrowers? We don't fucking know right now. We don't know if he's saying anything or if he's going to do anything, because he just says things constantly and they don't get done. Trump is that disappointing father figure who promises to take you to Disneyland, tells you it's going to be great, and it never happens. But in this case, instead of taking you to Disneyland, he's threatening to murder all the protesters. Let's see. I forgot to bring up the story. Oh, wait, is that in here? Let's see here. Well, I don't have to bring it up. I'll just tell you guys, little bitch Trump hid in his bunker. He was moved to a bunker because he, I guess, was fearing for his life the other night. And then came out and said that he's declaring war on anti-fascists. Hell of a leader. I just can't imagine what it's like to be such a caricature. If you wrote this man as a villain in a story, people would say it was too outlandish. But here we are. Let me see what else I got for you guys. Again, I appreciate all of you joining me. White House lights go dark. This is kind of an interesting one I saw. White House goes completely dark as protests rage outside. Washington had another day of mass protest on Sunday as more than 1,000 people gathered in Lafayette Square to chant, raise their fist, and kneel in a peaceful demonstration that began in front of the White House. At 11 p.m., a curfew implemented by Mayor Muriel Bowser began. A curfew began. Police pushed demonstrators back to the streets, and a majority of the protesters cleared out. Some of those who remained spread out across downtown, smashing windows, setting fires, scrawling graffiti. Yeah, if you didn't see last night, DC was burning. It was wild, some of the pictures. So it looks like police dispersed them with pepper bullets, tear gas, same story that's happening everywhere. And DC is an interesting place. I'm not surprised to see this kind of reaction there, because DC has for a long time had severe economic inequality, growing gentrification problems. DC's story is all about racial conflict. It's you'd be surprised. You'd think the nation's capital would be like that. I don't know if a lot of people in the country know that about it. Amateur. Oh yeah, historically, White House lights are only off when a sitting president dies. Trump does it when he is scared. I didn't know that. I actually saw something. Someone from the White House tried to say that they always go off around that time, and it sounded like bullshit to me. Damn. They always go off at that time. Imagine saying that, knowing full and well that the house lights are only supposed to go off when a president dies, the sitting president. Ugh. Oh God, this is a hell of a quote. According to the Times, several of his advisors had recommended that Trump address a grieving and worried nation, but others disagreed, concerned about him making things worse with any missteps in the speech. Yeah, it's something you definitely have to, you gotta give him some room for error when you're planning this out. Oh yeah, it's also worth mentioning that these protests are not just here in the U.S. They're happening in London, Berlin, Toronto, Japan, all over the world, which is in some ways beautiful and in other ways embarrassing as an American. Having people protest on our behalf to get our shit together, but also, you know, I'm glad we have other countries' support. Yeah. Well, that's really bringing us to the end here. I appreciate you all sticking with me through these stories. I'll definitely be newscasting a bit more in the coming weeks, just because a lot's going to be going on. I hope everyone will stay vigilant and stay safe out there, and make sure that you are not letting the police, not letting the state, not letting the corporate-owned media drive the narrative. We own this narrative. The people do. The journalists on the ground, the honest ones who are working for, you know, small publications, doing the hard work, you know, we are all the ones with the voices. So just keep that in mind. Don't let police take center stage. Don't let them try to appease you. Don't let them talk. This is not their time to talk. This is our time. And I want to leave you with this video. The question here posed in this tweet is, who is this serving? And I think it's a very important question for us to leave on. In fact, you know what? I'm just gonna make this a full screen. Before I start this, I just want to say one more time, thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all tuning in. I appreciate you all chatting. Thank you for the follow, A. Mitcher. Senston1, thank you so much for chatting with us. It was good to talk with you. Same with Wildman Willie. Nice show, man. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm working on getting this a little more organized each time, and I feel like I'm getting to a place that I like. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate it. If y'all want, y'all can follow me on here. You can follow me on Twitter as well, @WorstChase. I post my schedule on there. And yeah, I hope you all stay safe, stay well, and good luck, really. Have a good one, folks.
This is gross.
Again, let's ask ourselves, who is this serving?
Hey, whoa. Police just fucking attacked him.
Whoa, what the hell?
We didn't even see any of these today. right, folks, that's going to be it. Again, one more time, I'll ask, you know, who is the serving? Thank you all so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, stay vigilant out there.